but welcome to a place where we're spiritual seekers exploring an expanse of spirituality. Welcome to each of us on this, our Pride Celebration Sunday. As we gather here, we recognize that being an affirming community, an affirming congregation, means that we are all kinds of people, and that each and every one of us is welcomed and affirmed, and we belong. And that means that we incorporate all kinds of different people, all ages and sizes, all colors and cultures, all genders and sexualities, all religions, or many or none, all abilities, all types, all statuses, all people. And so if you're a person, welcome. Now, I know some of you, there's some cats and dogs listening online. You're welcome too. Just don't press the off button key, please. So here we are on this day where we light a candle like we do every time we gather. This, our community candle. And we light it for so many reasons. We recognize the spark in each of us and the spark that we share between us. We also recognize that for those at home that light a candle of their own, that this connects us as one community. And then beyond that, like ripples in a lake that move ever outward, that it expands, that this light connects us not just to each other as a community, but to broader communities, to friends, to family, to communities we live and work in, to our cities, our countries, in fact, the global community. And so when we light this candle, we recognize our connection to all of those communities and recognize its importance. As we're honoring Pride Month today, we celebrate that throughout the month of June, these flags have been behind us. These are Pride flags. And one of the members of our affirming team, Dara Smith, is going to come and talk to us a little bit about our Pride flags today. Thanks, Dara.
Apologies if I yawn. I had a long day at work yesterday, and as much as I'm excited to be here, excited to learn, eat, do all that, I'm more excited for the nap. Hello.
Hello. That's it.
All right, that's better. So apologies if I yawn. I had a long day yesterday, and I'm excited to be here, excited to learn and eat, but I am more excited for the nap I'm going to take when I get home. So I'm here introducing these flags. I'm going to start with the guy in the middle that we're all familiar with. Show of hands, who knows what the colors mean?
Ooh.
Perfect. All right. So this one was debuted in 1977 by a Gilbert Baker. He was an U.S. Army veteran and gay rights activist. Also kind of involved in the cannabis stuff, but that's neither here nor there. So we're going to start with the red for life and sexuality. Orange was designated for healing and friendship. Yellow for vitality and energy. Green for serenity and nature, obviously. Green is also science. Blue equals harmony and artistry, and violet is for spirit and gratitude. I like that one. Violet's my favorite, clearly. So I'm gonna do the trans flag next. That's my flag. This one was created by Monica Helms in 1999, a trans woman who also was a veteran of the US Navy. The blue is meant to represent boys, pink meant to represent girls, even though for a long time it was the opposite. I think the 1900s is when that kind of flipped around. The white was meant to represent those who have a neutral gender, no gender, or intersex, although intersex does have its own flag, which is like a big yellow background with like a purple circle, which is pretty cool. And then the one on the right is called the Progress Pride flag, and it started out as like the Philadelphia People of Color Pride flag, and it was basically the middle one with a brown and black stripe on the top. Because the designer of the Progress Pride flag wanted to include both the experience of people of color as well as trans people and make an overarching pride flag, they added the trans colors into it as well. That was designed by Daniel Quasar, and I didn't find too much information on him other than he is just a general queer artist. So there you go. Some fun information on our pride flags.
Yay. Thanks, Dara. Starting out with a little invitation for all of you in the room and all of you online. We have an opportunity to have a bit of an interactive time within our gathering today. You don't need to hear too much from me. You can hear from each other. Some stories, some celebrations, and also some times of learning. So a little bit later, if you would like to participate by sharing something, you're welcome to come to the microphone. Those of you at home are welcome to text your responses with your name. The questions we'll be talking about a little bit later. What's your best pride or affirming memory of SSUC, of being in this community? We've been an affirming congregation for 24 and a half years, so some of you might have some amazing memories. Some of you maybe some recent memories of that. Or maybe this question strikes you as an ally or a member of the 2S LGBTQ+ community. Why is Pride Month or an affirming community important to you? So we'll share. We'll have a time of sharing a little bit later. So please think about that as we're gathering. Regardless of whether we have a story to share or not, we are part of a community that affirms, that welcomes, that is about a sense of belonging. So why don't we sing our way into that sense of belonging today?
This is a place of belonging, with doors that are Got it. I'm Ruth Stewart Berger. My mother often told of the anecdote written down by Edward Chamberlain. This happened in a meeting between an Indigenous community in northwestern BC and a group of government officials. The government officials informed the community that they had claimed the land for Canada, for the government. The Indigenous peoples, the natives of that area, were confused, amazed. They couldn't understand how these relative newcomers claimed this land. And one of the elders finally put into words, into a question, what the people were thinking.
Good morning, I'm Gilda, or Jill, or venerable old bag to my family. If this is your land, he asked, where are your stories?
The stories of Treaty 6 land started long before 1867. No, 1876, when the leaders of the Cree, the Assiniboine, and the Ojibwe gathered and signed a piece of paper. 5 years before that, in 1871, the people of the Cree, the Assiniboine, and the Ojibwe had become concerned. All these people from away, these newcomers, were coming in and settling on the land, and that meant that the buffalo and the other large games were changing their ranging patterns. The people who lived on that land knew that their economy was failing, that starvation would follow. And so they asked these crown officials to enter into treaty with them to solve the problems. And the treaty was meant to express their concerns of the Métis people, the settlers, and the surveyors. But when it was signed, we know what happened. I have come to this Treaty 6 land within the last year, and I want to acknowledge the beauty of this land. I want to acknowledge the stories of this land. I want to acknowledge the Indigenous people who cared for this land for time immemorial and told their stories. Richard Wagamese put it this way.
I am the snow and the wind, bearing stories across geographies and generations. I am the trees, alive with singing. I am the sky, everywhere. I am the light, everywhere descending. I am my heart, evoking drum song. I am my spirit rising. In the smell of these sacred medicines burning, I am my prayers and my meditation, and I am time captured fully in this now. I am a traveler on a sacred journey through this one shining day.
Who's ready for a time for all ages? Anyone here? We're all invited to the carpet. Some of you may come to the front row, some of you may stay where you are, but we're all welcome. Oh, I'm glad you came up to the carpet today because I want to share a really good story with you called Firenze's Light. It's by Jessica Colasau and illustrated by Angela Lee. Pictures are here and they're also up on the wall. Firenze likes dancing. Oh yeah, Zoe's finding out that sometimes the tablet skips backwards instead of forwards. Yeah. Surprise! Firenze likes dancing. Firenze likes books. But there is one thing Firenze does not like. Firenze does not like her light. It's always shining at the wrong time. At the movies, at slumber parties, during games of hide and seek. Oh no, she makes it really easy to find her, right? Your light makes you unique, said her mother. No one shines just like you. I'll cover up my light, Firenze thought. She gathered leaves and wrapped them around her until her light was hidden. The next day, Firenze's friends, say that 3 times. Firenze's friends, Firenze's friends, Firenze's friends. That's a tongue twister. Oh, they needed help. The tick dropped snacks under his seat. Firenze, can you share your light down here? Shine your light down here. Oh my gosh. What light? I don't have a light, snapped Firenze. Well, next at the slumber party, Natalie whispered, Firenze, make your light shine. I'm scared of the dark. But Firenze let out a loud snore and pretended to be asleep. During a game of hide and seek, Firenze hid in her best spot, deep in the dark bushes. Come out, Firenze, shouted Legs. It's too hard to find you when your light doesn't shine. But Firenze pretended not to hear and flew away as fast as she could. Firenze found herself deep in the forest, far away from her friends. She'd hoped they would forget about her light. She felt very sad. Just as she began to cry, she heard a strange sound coming from the bushes behind her. Munch, munch, munch. Firenze flew closer to investigate. Munch, 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 crunch. I love it. What are you doing? Asked Firenze. Sorry, I almost used the next voice for this voice. What are you doing? Asked Firenze. I needed to practice more. Creating my masterpiece, exclaimed a beetle, clicking their huge pincers. I'm Curie. I'm using my magnificent pincers to make wonderful art. Isn't it amazing? It's lovely, said Firenze. And she looked at Curie's art. Firenze's light began to shine through the patterns in the leaves. Oh, how beautiful, Firenze gasped, enchanted by the color and shapes that appeared all around her. Wow, whispered Curie. Your light is making my art even more magical. What a wonderful gift you have. Oh no, said Firenze. I don't like my light. I wish it would go away. She began grabbing leaves to wrap around herself again. I understand, said Curie. I used to feel the same way about my pincers, but then I realized I'm brilliant. I'm wonderful. I'm unique. I wish I could feel like that about my light, Curie, but I don't, Firenze exclaimed, and then she flew home. A few days later, Firenze received a package. Oh, Here's the note. It says, "Dear friends, I made this skirt just for you. I hope you will wear it to my art show tomorrow. Your light is a gift. Let it shine. Love, Kiri." And then look, it's this skirt of leaves. Isn't it beautiful? Ferenz felt nervous as she arrived at the art show the next day, but as her light glimmered through her skirt, she saw the faces of her friends. "How lovely! Brilliant! See what happens when you let your light shine," her friends all said. When Ferenz twirled on the stage, she realized how powerful her light was. It was creating magical art and joy for her friends and happiness in her heart. Suddenly, Ferenz felt very grateful that she was a firefly. Ferenz grew to love her light, even when it was difficult. She always remembered the night she let her light shine for everyone to see. Oh, I love that because Ferenz learned from her friends that she can be different, she can be unique, and she can still be proud and brilliant about who she is. And that is such a good message for all of us. We are all different from our siblings or from our neighbors, from our friends, and it's okay. We all have to find what light we have to shine. So thanks for that. Thanks for sharing this story with me today. You know what? Kid Spirit is happening today. Big party, big celebration, lots of fun things to do. You're welcome to go to Kid Spirit today, or to stay here, or to play with toys, whatever you want to do. That goes for all of us. We'll spend a few moments thinking about all the things that are coming up, or invitations that we have, opportunities we have to be part of this community in different ways. And first of all, let me just say a big thank you to all of you who support the work and the life of this community. Nothing that happens without support of time and energy, and also your ongoing financial support. So thank you for that. If you want to make a donation today, there are boxes at the back, or we have received your automatic donations, or perhaps you want to buy a grocery card from the foyer afterward that helps us with a little bit back from every grocery card we sell. Anyway, thank you for all of the ways that you contribute. That makes everything we do possible. I also want to make sure you all feel welcome and invited to stay for brunch. If you brought some finger food, some plates of food to share, fantastic. If you didn't, there's always enough, because we can divide muffins even into 6. You know, we're good with that. Whatever works. Stay as long as you feel welcome and invited. Please stay. We have the great opportunity not only to meet for the first time in 3 years for an Affirm brunch, but we also have the great opportunity to hear from our guest speaker, Shalini Sinha, who will join us. Well, she's here. Hi, Shalini. But will join us to offer some thoughts from her work, not only as part of the 2S LGBTQ+ community, but as her role as a professor at MacEwan University of Gender Studies, and as her role as the current chair of the board of the Pride Center of Edmonton. So we'll look forward to hearing from her and asking questions and interacting with her during our brunch. So thank you for staying. And one more thing from me. Well, maybe. On June the 25th, that's in a couple Sundays from now, we have an opportunity to welcome, affirm, and participate in a little ritual, a little time of welcome. For those of you who are newer to us or who have been around for a long time but have never had the opportunity to be welcomed and to state kind of our intentions to say, this is a community where I feel welcome and affirmed, and I want to mark that in some way in my life. So we'll do that with words and intentions on Sunday the 25th. This is not about membership, which is an idea, I think, from a time ago, and we'll talk not about that, but of our sense of belonging and our sense of connection to community. So if that's something that interests you, please let us know by RSVPing, and also there is an information session on Zoom on this Thursday evening at 7. The link is in the messenger on our website, and I'm speaking specifically to our online audience. This involves you. It will be a time for people in the room and online to join together and mark that time if you'd like. So open to all, in person and online. All right. Something about Bissell, and here we go.
Good morning. My name is Linda May, and I'm here as your advocate for the Drop Your Gaunch campaign for Bissell. Sometime this week, I have showered, washed clothes, changed underwear, all those good things that we don't necessarily think about as, gee, I'm lucky. I'm blessed that I can do this in my own home. And sometimes we forget that there are those who don't have that opportunity, and Bissell offers that for them. They offer showers, they offer laundry facilities, and they offer new underwear. In the past, they have asked us for different things. Through the Tuesday Connection group, we have given them sanitary products for women. We have given them diapers for use in the daycare and for people coming in. So this gift of underwear is not just about underwear. It's about the process that people have to feel good about themselves, as we do. And on a hot day like this, it will be nice to have a cool shower and put on clean clothes. We are blessed. So if you would like to donate underwear directly, there's a box out there. If you would like to donate money, I am a great shopper for underwear. I found lots of places to find good stuff at a reasonable price. So you can see me. So thank you very much, and drop your gaunch.
Oh, a tough act to follow. Good morning, everyone. So good to be with you all again. It's great for Emberwood, for myself to come and be here on behalf of Ali and I at our Pride celebration. This is what Emberwood has been doing all along, thinking about nature, thinking about how nature is inherently queer, thinking about how nature is celebrating diversity, difference, how it is celebrating pride and confidence in everything that it does and all of the ways that it grows. So, like always, I'll invite you to put your feet on the floor. You can start to really arrive here in this moment, in this community that loves you and cherishes you and welcomes you exactly as you are. You might start to notice your breathing. You don't need to do anything about it. Just be aware of what it's like to bring air into your lungs and belly, and what it's like to exhale fully back into this room with your friends and your family and this community. We know that nature is absolutely brimming with examples of confidence and pride and diversity. Little fireflies that have bright, bright, bright lights that shine no matter what. Trees that are reaching and soaring into the sky. Mountains that peacefully take up as much space as they need and as they want. Spider webs that are intricately woven. And carefully constructed birds' nests. All different ways that nature shows us how to be different and how to be proud of all of these little pieces that make us, us. And so as you breathe in and remember that you are nature too, you are intricate, you are confident, you can have pride in yourselves, you might breathe in this message. I have the right to feel good about myself. I have the right to feel good about myself. I have the right to be proud of who I am and who I am becoming as another piece of nature.
This is a reading called Twilight People, adapted from Rabbi Reuben Zellman. Every summer night, as the sun sinks and the colors of the day turn, we can offer a blessing for the twilight. We can never be fully labeled or defined. We can offer a blessing for the twilight, for twilight is neither day nor night, but in between. We are all twilight people. We can never be fully labeled or defined. We are many identities and loves, many genders and none. We are in between roles, at the intersection of histories, or between place and place. We are crisscrossed paths of memory and destination, streaks of light and swirled together. We are neither day nor night, We are both neither and all. Perhaps we can allow the sacred in between of our experience, suspend our certainties, soften our judgments, and widen our vision. Perhaps we can allow the in-between light illuminate our way toward transcending all categories and definitions. We are all in-between people, and may all of us learn to shine and reflect in the twilight. We cannot always define, but we can always say a blessing.
These are words of a contemporary leader and author.
We find wisdom.
Well, I promised a time of sharing, and now we're there. So perhaps some of you have been thinking about what you might share in response to some of our memories about being an affirming congregation, or perhaps how Pride Month or Pride and affirming celebrations, why they're important to you. Lots of input from those of you at home, thank you. But for those of you who would like to share here in the room, there's a microphone and a stand here. Ask you to come forward and share what you might have to share today. I'm going to start, and don't be shy. Come forward as you would like. I'm going to share with from some people who have submitted some things either this morning or in the last couple of days to those questions. And the first one comes from Sandra Lockhart. And I've chosen Sandra first for a reason, and you'll see why. Sandra writes, I have many significant memories, but one that stands out is on January 1999 at the AGM, when Southminster Steinhauer United Church made the decision to become an affirming ministry. We were the first in Alberta to do so, and the decision was made by an overwhelming majority after a process of transformative work. And as someone who was there at that time, Sandra has submitted this wonderful memory, and she does so as the past co-chair of the Affirming Committee in 1999 and for many years. So thank you, Sandra, for that wonderful memory. And I just want to share one more just right now from Bonnie Berg. Bonnie, you're also here. All of these folks who are here but making me read their words. That's okay. A favorite memory, seeing the joy experienced by the Camp Dragonfly children in last year's video. Yes. And why is it important to Bonnie? Because this is a valuable space for sharing stories and learning about each other. Bonnie writes, I feel honored to have a community of friends like this. It's comfortable to just be together without judgment, or even thinking about who is or who is not one thing or another. We're just community. Well said, Bonnie. Thank you. Oh, one from the text line. Don't want to ignore the text line. Here it is. From Annabelle, being part of the process of becoming an affirming congregation where she learned so much. She's so grateful for that. And one more from Tricia. Right there. Hi, Tricia. The 2S LGBTQ plus community needs to hear from and be celebrated by those who are allies during Pride Month. Amen to that. And throughout the year, because there are still too many times in their lives when they are made to feel unaccepted by family and some members of society. What makes us different makes us strong. And Tricia Little! I got the wrong Trish. What? I'm sorry, that's not... Well, let me read yours. That's okay. It's all right. Thank you, Trisha Little. If you're out there, hello, thank you. Trish Young writes this. What's important to me as an ally with 2 gender-diverse grandchildren, one of whom has felt very supported by this community, I have learned so much. Thank you, Trish. Anyone in the room have some things to share? Come to the mic. Come.
I would just like to say how much I have learned through this whole process when we've had affirming brunches and we've had some wonderful speakers, but a special mention of Dara and Dylan.
these two young men have answered every question that I have had, and they would tell you that I've had a lot of questions, and they've been so, pardon? Yes, and some questions I didn't have. And Dara, you might have seen in the slide of the Pride Parade, he was a much younger man then. Any guesses as to how old you were there? '18. And Dylan first started coming to this church when he was 16. So I have had years of knowledge shared with me. So I appreciate both of you.
Short people. Thank you. Short lesbians were a danger. In any case, what I'd like to say is that this is the congregation that finally allowed me to put my faith back into my identity. You can see that I have a physical challenge. I've had that my whole life. So I've explained all of that. I've gone through regular school systems. I've gone through MacEwan when it was a community college, and have worked independently, live independently. I came out as a lesbian, but when I came out as a lesbian, the United Church wasn't really happy with that ideal. Thank God for Edmonton Vocal Minority. We took over all of the singers, the choir members of all the churches that would not allow us to sing with them because you couldn't handle us being gay, and we became the choir that wouldn't shut up. Well, once Southminster Steinhauer put their foot down on the ground and said, you guys can come back and join us, well, a lot of us members are here now. So thank you, folks. Thank you for being there at the Pride Parade. So I had another part of my life acknowledged.
Well, Chris has been reading messages from a number of people who are here. I'm here, and I sent him a message. Why is he not reading it? I have two particular memories that I want to share. Number one was before we became an affirming congregation, and there were home study meetings to get people familiar with the situation and what it's all about. And I remember being at one of those home meetings in the evening. It happened to be Sandra Lockhart's. And I don't think I had anything averse about LGBTQ people, but I asked the question there, well, why do the people need special recognition? Wouldn't very short people want special recognition? How about colorblind people? How about very tall people? They'll also want special recognition. That was my question, and there was one other member there too who asked the same question. As I said, we were not opposed to queer people. We just wondered why special recognition. Now, the second thing that I remember was working with Gil Drapeau quite a long time ago, probably 10 or 15 years ago. Gil Drapeau adapted the play When Lilacs Bloom. And that play had in it a very, very rough, red-necked father of a queer boy, teenage boy. I was that father. I used a language that I didn't know existed. And my wife may made sure that our daughter and some of our granddaughters came to hear what it was that Papa was going to say. I've forgotten that language now.
Jim, thank you for that, because I think the questions that you asked 24, 25 years ago show us how far we've come in that time. To recognize that the work of social justice, the work of affirmation, is work when it comes to any marginalized group, any community that's singled out for hate or exclusion or prejudice or injustice. They need to just as strongly be singled out and lifted up for inclusion, for justice, for affirmation and support. So that we've learned over almost a generation, haven't we? That's why we single out, because the more challenge a community might have in receiving justice, the more we need to lift them up and work for justice. So thank you for that memory, Jim.
So I texted the number, but I was. Yeah, no, I know, but it was this is different. I wanted to talk about my favorite SSUC memories, specifically related to Pride. I texted about my favorite Pride memories, but I couldn't find a way to word my SSUC favorite memories, so I just thought I'd come up and ramble for a few minutes. But it's less a favorite memory, but more a collection of events that are like my favorite memories. Just in general, the second Sunday brunches. Is unbelievably good at creating community. I've always enjoyed, the conversations I've had with so many different people, and even, after the second Sunday brunch, when we're in the kitchen cleaning up, there's lots of good, fun things that people miss out too after the second Sunday brunch. Just in general, the second Sunday brunches are probably one of my favorite memories from SSUC. So yeah, sorry for the ramble. I'm exhausted, but yeah.
You're standing there, Carmen. In between, I want to just read a text. This comes from Candace Gray. So thankful to have found this place. We are new to this community and watching from Vancouver Island. Hello. Loving every minute. Last week's service was amazing. Glad to have been there in person. Hearts. Heart. Thank you, Candace. And one more from Doug and Wilson. Pride allowed us to meet. Pride allowed us to meet. SSUC allowed us to flourish as a couple.
Amen. On Monday, I was at Southgate, and there is a beautiful, beautiful display honoring Pride Week. If I had not been part of this church, if I had not been through this journey with you, I wouldn't have any idea what that was all about. And it is fantastic. It's worthwhile going and looking at. I was happy that I knew what it was all about, because there's no sign that said this is Pride Week. It's just a beautiful display out in the center area.
Don Shepard writes this: knowing that we listened to the gay and lesbian friends that told us how important to them that we become a truly affirming community all those years ago. Thank you, Don, for that. Well, friends, what lovely, beautiful sharing. And what a way to celebrate Pride Month, to honor not only who we are as a community, but the important work that is always before us, that there are always people who need an affirming message. And so as we share our stories now, may it not be the end. May it just be the start. And may we start making more memories all the time of being that open, inclusive, affirming community. May it be so. That leads us into strengthening our intentions. It's our way of seeking together how we might live more closely aligned with our values. And so today's strengthening our intentions words will be on our screens, and we will share them together. Because people of every sexual orientation, gender expression, and gender identity have the right to live with dignity and without persecution or discrimination, we reaffirm and strengthen our intentions. Today we hold to the light specifically 2S LGBTQ+ people of Chechnya, Uganda, Zambia, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and elsewhere who have been murdered and tortured because of who they are. We remember them and the people who love them. 2S LGBTQ+ refugees from around the world seeking safety and sanctuary. We remember them and the people who welcome them. Trans and gender diverse people in Canada, the United States, Brazil, and elsewhere who are targeted victims of hate crimes and assaults. We remember them and the people who love them. 2S LGBTQ+ people whose dignity and self-esteem have been eroded by hateful systems and structures. We remember them and seek to be people who love more fully. Individually, we each uniquely embody sacredness, beauty, and strength. But anti-gay violence, homophobia, and transphobia have blocked many from recognizing their own beauty and ability to love themselves and others. All of creation suffers from the effects of such hate, fear, and violence. Daily, may we dedicate ourselves to building bridges of love and hope where harmful divisions have been made, standing up and speaking out for equity, equality, and inclusion, while working continually for justice, so that everyone can live fully in love, in peace, in affirmation. Amen. The following is a pride blessing adapted from Cricket Hall. May the parade route rise to meet us, and the world rise to accept and embrace us.
May the rainbow of love enfold us.
May our fluidity never be hindered.
May our pronouns always be supported and our dead names forgotten.
May those we invite into our life remain loyal.
May our chosen family lift us up and catch us when we need it.
May we be able to support and strengthen others when they need it.
And until we meet again,
may we remember that we are all loved and affirmed, sacred, and whole.